Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, we're going over part 4 of the story I covered earlier, which was titled, Husband Tricks Wife into Writing Confession About Affair with Coworker, then Throws Her Out in Tears. And guys, where I left off, that was where our hero was going through his now kicked out of the house wife's iPad, I believe, and found out that she had 2 different usernames to get in there under her maiden name, and found all sorts of dirty laundry, pictures, and all sorts of evidence proving that not only was she having an affair with that dude Fred, but also with other dudes out at bars and pool parties and that type of thing. All the evidence that his lawyer requested that he get. And now we're going to continue on more things he's discovered has been going on behind the scenes. And of course, if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about because you just clicked on this video for the first time, go back and watch part 1, 2, and 3. Definitely entertaining. And then come back here and catch up with part 4 and you can join us. So he continues on. He says, first, the pool party last August. The DM show Carol was invited to the party by a guy she met on Tinder. Shocker. And had banged a few times. Shocker. Carol asked Linda if she wanted to come with her to the party. Linda would not need a bathing suit. Linda said she wouldn't miss it for the world. That was right before she and Fred started sleeping together. They were almost run out of the party shortly after they arrived. Carol asked the guy to take a picture of her and Linda. The guy took Carol's phone and yelled, "Picture!" Waited a bit, looked around, and took their picture. This is the picture of the 2 of them that was in the picture file. He told them if they had to take pictures, they should warn everyone so the others can turn away from the camera. Yeah, in the last video, they said the pictures at the butt-naked pool party, everybody was turning their heads. After a few more pictures, their host told Carol to put the phone away. She was annoying everyone. No more pictures. Carol started to argue, but the guy told her to leave. The fun was just beginning, so Carol put her phone with her clothes. The rest of their DMs about the pool party were descriptions of the guys they were with and what they did with them. It seems like they were trying to outdo each other. They were at the party about 4 hours. I'll spare you the details. Let's just say I'm glad they prevented Carol from taking more pictures. Also, after reading the DMs about Linda's activities at the party, I became even more freaked out about the possibility Linda gave me an STD. I had an appointment to get tested on Thursday. I'll call this morning and get tested tomorrow. Oh man, my fingers are crossed. Both my fingers are crossed. And all our guys around the world's fingers are crossed that you don't have... I mean, you have enough shit going on now. You don't need an STD. 2, on to Linda and Fred. Linda told me she hated her job in marketing and was transferring to customer service. More opportunities to advance from there. Her DMs to Carol tell a different story. Linda told Carol she was called in by her boss, who told her that her relationship with another employee in the marketing was inappropriate. There was a supervisory position open in customer service, and she needed to take it. Oh, that's a fun job. Customer service. Supervisor in customer service. Her boss will make sure she gets the job. Linda will be out of the department one way or another. Linda didn't want to leave her lover, but had no choice since her boss knew about them. Linda transferred to customer service. I remember Linda jabbering about some guy she was working with in marketing. Honestly, I didn't pay attention. It went to one ear and out the other. I didn't even remember his name until I saw on Linda's DMs about him to Carol. When Linda transferred to customer service, Fred began hitting on her almost immediately. Linda told Carol that he was very attentive, constantly telling her how great she looks, how beautiful she is, blah, blah, blah. Attention and validation. Later in the messages, after Linda and Fred started screwing, she told Carol that Fred admitted Linda's boyfriend in marketing told Fred that she was very available. So when they transferred, Fred was there to help Linda in any way he could. Oh, I'm sure he was. It started with flirting. Linda gave it as good as she got. Lots of S-word banter between them. He constantly complimented her on her boobs and her butt. Very exciting, but Fred also flirted with other girls in the office. All of them younger than Linda. It was a competition that Linda told Carol she wanted to win. Women are so competitive with other women, it's amazing. And she wants to compete with these younger girls to show I still got it. He likes me more than you younger trollops. Linda and Fred started to eat lunch together. Well, he was eating a lot more than that. Mostly with other coworkers. They wanted to be alone, but that wasn't possible in the company cafeteria, so they started to go to lunch together. It was still only flirting with some kissing and some touching. At that point, in their messages, Linda told Carol that she thought Fred must be involved with someone else. Well, duh. That's the only explanation Linda could come up with about why Linda and Fred weren't already sleeping together. Linda and Carol couldn't figure out what was up with Fred. Carol suggested Linda would take the initiative. She should ask Fred out for drinks after work. They should pretend that they're single and meet up as if they're on a date. See if that gets Fred going. If it didn't get Fred going, it didn't get Fred going. Linda finally asked Fred why he wasn't interested in effing her. Linda wrote Carol that Fred told her he had to be very careful. His wife Beth had found out about him cheating at a former job. She made him quit the job and also made his life hell. He didn't want to get caught again. He was worried I'd find out and tell his wife, or that Linda would tell people in the office about them and it would get back to his wife, or they'd be fired if their bosses had found out. Both she and Carol were relieved that the problem was Fred is just afraid of his wife. Yeah, they God forbid, didn't want to think that he wasn't attracted to her and didn't want her. Oh, well, it's his wife. Okay, we're still hot. I'm still hot. He still wants me. Goodness sake. They both had worried something was seriously wrong with him. Linda assured Fred I was clueless and would never suspect her of cheating. Fred didn't need to worry about me finding out or telling Fred's wife. Linda assured Fred that Linda would not tell anyone about their affairs. His wife would never find out. Fred was willing to go out for drinks, and after a while, drinks and dinner, but still reluctant to go further than kissing and touching. Linda asked Carol for suggestions. These gals always have a female wing girl to assist them in all these adventures here. Proves it every time. Carol told Linda to find a quiet spot where they were not likely to be disturbed. Pull down Fred's pants and give him a BJ. And that's what Linda did. In the confession I had her write to me, she said that Fred was the aggressor, that he took Linda to empty office, started kissing her, and then went down on her. The opposite is true. Linda brought Fred to an empty office and went down on him. Linda also told Carol that she had fantasized about Fred's you-know-what for months, but that the reality was disappointing. Regardless, Carol's advice worked. They went to a motel that night. So, of course, she blamed him as being the one initiating everything, not the other way around. That was last September. And that's when Fred gave Linda the pearl drop necklace. Oh, he did all right, after her going down on him. It was BS that Fred gave it to Linda a few weeks ago as some sort of thank you gift. She had it for months. It was a gift to commemorate the beginning of their romance. Linda wore it at the office and when she was with Fred on their dates. The night I saw it, she just forgot to take it off and hide it as usual before she got home. She told Carol that she told me it was a gift from Fred instead of something she bought for herself because she wanted to see my reaction to another man giving her gifts. In other words, she likes playing games and testing and drama. Things aren't exciting enough, so now she's got to get the husband all worked up and all that. And this is why like I say, why women don't like video games. Because a lot of women don't like video games. Well, they got men to play games with. And if I didn't care about the gift, she would start hinting more about her and Fred's real relationship. If I still didn't care, she'd bring up opening the marriage, at least opening up for Linda. Carol advised that it was a good idea for Linda to start hinting about opening our marriage. Carol told Linda that Carol didn't need to talk to her husband about opening the marriage. Carol was already in an open marriage. She bangs anyone she wants pretty much whenever she wants. There was no need to discuss any of this with her clueless husband. No need for her husband to know his wife has already opened up her side of the marriage. It's none of his business. None of his business. Yeah, okay. But that's the mentality that so many have nowadays. And my stories I've done countless have proved that. Carol asked for details, but Fred and Linda eagerly provided them. Carol also wanted a detailed comparison between me and Fred. Oh, for God's sakes. I tell you guys, your girls' friends all know about the size of your you-know-what, or how you perform in bed, how quick you are. Maybe there are some gals out there that watch me that are actually... Usually the 4% of women that watch me are actually pretty decent gals, so maybe they don't do it. But I'm sure there isn't a woman watching me that hasn't known a girl that has gossiped about her boyfriend or husband's you-know-what and all that. You all know what I'm talking about here. Come on. Anyway, Linda said I'm bigger and generally better in bed. I'm the more considerate lover, but Fred is a genius with his tongue. He got her off over and over again with that wonderful tongue. But that was the only way Fred could satisfy her. That was okay. Linda could put up with the rest as long as his tongue continued to work. Which is not saying that Fred is, hung like a kindergartner and can't pleasure her in that department. Carol asked a bunch of questions about me, size, what I was good at, what I liked, was I kinky. Linda repeated that she already told Carol everything about me. Carol said she still had questions. Without any shame, Linda answered every one of Carol's questions about me. Very intimate details about me and our lovemaking. What I tell you. Then Carol asked if Linda would mind if Carol and I hooked up. Oh, for God's sakes. Linda told Carol not even think about it. There's no way Linda would allow me to do that. If Carol was up with me, Linda would divorce me and tell Carol's husband. Linda made it clear that she was furious with Carol for even suggesting it. Oh, because she's so sweet and innocent. There was a break in the messages for about a week. No contact from Linda until Carol wrote an apology. These messages about me were just before Christmas last year. Merry Christmas. We went to a party at Carol and Jim's on Christmas Day. In the car on the way to the party, Linda told me if she caught me alone with Carol, she'd divorce me. You're on the way to the Christmas party? That's what she says. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she's going to divorce you because, you know, this is how cheaters think. Everybody's a cheater. No questions, no excuses. She'd immediately get an attorney. Well, her divorcing you would have been a blessing. I asked her what was she talking about. Where did she come up with that? She said that Carol has never cheated on her husband. Linda would know she had, but Carol was clearly interested in me. She didn't want me to be Carol's first fling, or her mine. I should stay away from Carol or else. She looked at me and told me she wasn't kidding. Should stay away from Carol. I thought at the time that both of these women must be off their medication. There's more in their messages about how thrilling her affair with Fred was. How exciting. How she can't live without him, blah, blah, blah. Fred is her soulmate. Yeah, with a small wiener. The only reason she gets up in the morning is to see Fred, blah, blah, blah. The rest of her messages pretty much followed what Linda wrote in her confession. Until Linda started to talk about Billy, there's nothing about Billy in the confession she wrote for me. Plenty about him in the DMs with Carol and her other BFF. Number 3, Linda and Billy. Yeah, I was wondering who the F is Billy. Early in February, Linda started writing about someone she hired, a guy in his early 20s named Billy. Linda admitted to Carol the only reason she hired him, other than applicants, was because she was attracted to him, very attached to him. Also around this time, Linda told Carol that she was getting tired of Fred. It was becoming stale. The thrill is gone. Shocker. Fred is tiresome. He's constantly worried that his wife will find about them. Linda told Carol she's really tired of Fred talking about what his wife would do to him if she found out about Linda. Fed up with Fred's whining, Linda told Carol that she asked Fred what his wife was going to do. Beat them up. His wife was 5'3" and weighed maybe 110 pounds. Well, that's exactly what the wife did. Beat her up. She has nothing to worry about. His wife didn't divorce him when she caught him before. If she finds out about them, she's not going to divorce him this time either. Fred should man up. Fred replied that Linda doesn't know what his wife is capable of. Well, Fred's a giant pussy, and any guy that's a cheater is a coward, you know, and he's afraid of his wife. He's such a little bitch. You all recall from the first 2 stories. Anyway, Linda was getting bored with Fred. She stopped seeing him on Saturdays, and there was no more drinks and dinners. She told Carol the only interesting thing about Fred was his magic tongue. What Linda really wanted to do is to cut out his tongue so she'd have it to use when she needed to get off. She didn't want Fred anymore, just his tongue. Linda and Fred remained work friends and once or twice a week a motel hookup. Linda didn't want to give up that tongue. Then Linda hired Billy. Now Linda was excited about going to work again. She did everything she could to show Billy she was interested. She touched him on his arm and back as often as she could, complimented him on his muscles, private chats in her office about how he was fitting in at work. Yeah, and she wanted him to fit into her. She told Billy he could talk to her about anything, anytime. Wow, what a nice boss. But Billy was pursuing another recent hire in Linda's group, a very pretty gal about Billy's age. She was engaged and getting married in June. Billy went after her with a passion. The girl seemed to keep Billy at bay. She was engaged after all, and when Billy flirted with her, she made sure she flashed her engagement ring. Carol figured he'd get tired chasing her and finally show some interest in Linda. Linda should wait it out. If somebody's mad that younger gal's getting the attention and not her, poor her. The bathrooms in Linda's office are in a narrow hallway near the elevators. The hallway's L-shaped with the bathrooms at the bottom of the L behind the elevator shaft. When Linda and Fred started fooling around, they meet up at the bathroom and entered the hallway with brief hugs and kisses. No one could see them unless they came down the hallway and turned into the shorter hallway at the bathrooms. Isn't there surveillance cameras? A few weeks ago, Linda saw the girl rushing out of the bathroom hallway back to her desk. She was flushed and looking panicked and confused. Her lipstick was smudged. Seconds later, Billy came out of the hallway, a big smile on his face, wiping off the girl's lipstick. Gee, where was her mouth? Next day, Billy and the girl went to lunch together. Carol could see them walking together on the street from her office window. Billy grabbed the gal and started kissing her. They kissed for a while and walked away with Billy's arm around her, kissing occasionally as they walked. They must have had some bad food for lunch because neither returned to work Afterwards, they both called in sick. Well, he had some fish tacos for lunch. Linda asked Carol for advice. Carol told Linda to fire the SLUT. She's engaged and playing around with this guy. What a piece of crap, this girl. You're both married women, you're cheating, but this girl's engaged and she's cheating and she's the villain. If for no other reason, they should be fired for being unfaithful to her poor fiancé. Linda decided to wait and see what happened. Billy and the girl started having lunch and leaving work together every day. After about 2 weeks of this, the girl came to work without her engagement ring. She was all over Billy, but Billy kept giving her the cold shoulder. Oh, God. She broke up with her fiancé, or maybe her fiancé caught her. Needless to say, she's no longer with a fiancé, and now this guy, Billy, who's a scumbag, no longer interested in her. Finally, Billy told her to stay away from him. They were over. She ran to the bathroom crying. Aw, poor girl. Linda told Carol she followed her to the bathroom to find out what happened. Linda found the girl crying in the bathroom stall. She told Linda that she'd been sleeping with Billy at his apartment before going home to her fiancé. Her fiancé was getting suspicious, and last night she arrived home with a love bite on her neck. She thought she had it covered up completely with makeup, but her fiancé started kissing her neck, and the makeup rubbed it off. Her fiancé knew exactly what it was and tore open the blouse. She had more love bites all over her body. This poor guy, but you know what? At least he didn't marry her. She confessed her affair with Billy to her fiancé, but insisted that she loves him, the fiancé. Billy was just a stupid last chance fling before they got married. Hobag Handbook. She asked the fiancé to forgive her. She'll break it up with Billy and quit her job immediately. She was foolish, but it will never happen again. Getting married to him is more important than anything in the world. Then why'd she cheat? Repeatedly. Her fiancé asked for the engagement ring back. The wedding was off, and she had to leave his place immediately. The fiancé is no longer answering her calls and returning her messages. He is already telling everyone that the wedding is off because she cheated on him. Even her closest friends are abandoning her. Aw, poor her. Let me guess, she's going to blame it all on Billy. She thought Billy would be so happy that she was no longer engaged. No more sneaking around, and they could now spend more time together. What happened to her being so in love with her fiancé just a moment ago? More important than anything in this world. Billy's reaction was the opposite. He wanted nothing to do with her. She told Linda that her life was ruined. She really loved her fiancé, but it destroyed the relationship with someone, Billy, who doesn't really care about her at all. Linda told her to fix herself up and go home. The girl should probably start thinking about getting another job. She shouldn't be screwing her coworkers and bringing all this drama into the office. And Linda told the girl that she hated cheaters. Oh, God, that's rich, coming from her. This was all Linda's message to Carol. They made fun of the stupid girl, but Linda was thrilled that she was out of the picture. The next day, Linda saw Billy walking into the bathroom and decided to follow him. She went into the men's room after him. She made sure they were alone, smiled, and said that he needed a woman who knew what she was doing. The flighty girl he'd been hooking up with is probably lousy in bed. Billy grabbed her down south and kissed Linda in the mouth. Then he broke it off and went to take a piss. Linda went back to her office. Linda told Carol that the encounter in the bathroom felt like an electric shock had coursed through her. It was thrilling. She asked Carol what she should do next. Carol's advice was to grab Billy's you-know-what and kiss him. Linda decided to ask him out for lunch on Saturday instead. Billy agreed to meet her. Linda was waiting outside the restaurant when Billy arrived. He told her he wanted Linda for lunch. He took her by the hand and led him back to his apartment. It was a one-bedroom. His roommate and his girlfriend had one bedroom. Billy had the pull-out couch in the small living room. That's how Chad and Tyrone roll. Billy took off Linda's clothes and pushed her down the bed. That's where they remained for the next few hours. At one point, the roommate and his girlfriend came home. Billy and Linda were right in the middle of things. Linda on top, but Billy paused to introduce her to everyone. They all chatted for a while before the roommate and his girl went back to the bedroom. Oh, for God's sakes. Then she and Billy were back at it. When Linda told Carol about this, Carol said the younger generation has no shame. Linda should get used to that if she's going to continue with Billy. How about you two with no shame either? So now she was cheating on Fred with Billy. She wanted to keep on with Fred because of his wonderful oral skills, but SCX with Billy. Linda told Carol what was wonderful in every way. She didn't think Billy would care that she was seeing Fred, but Fred would certainly be concerned about Billy. Fred was concerned about everything, then she and Fred were caught at the motel. The last Instagram DMs were from the Friday, the day after Beth, Fred's wife, beat up Linda, and a few hours before Beth brought Fred to my house to confess his affair to Linda. Linda wrote Carol about the motel fiasco and the story she told me about being mugged, and that I saw that she still had Fred's necklace. Linda asked Carol what she should do. Carol said it will all blow over. Fred's wife won't tell me about what happened. She beat up Linda. Fred's wife will keep her mouth shut, but Linda should probably stay home from work for a few days. Linda's last DM to Carol were all about her fear that if she stayed home and wasn't at work, Billy might move on to someone else. Her affair with Fred is obviously over, but Linda still wanted to give up on Billy. Didn't want to give up on Billy. The night Linda started to write on her confession, and I confiscated her laptop and iPad, I threw her out the following Sunday. God almighty. And people wonder why more and more guys are walking away and don't want marriage or relationships or fucking dating. Number 4, Carol. Linda's DMs were with Carol and her other BFF. There were nothing in the DMs that indicated this other girlfriend had ever cheated on her husband. Sure. She just wanted to know every detail of Linda and Carol's affairs. She asked them questions, gave them advice, and encouraged their infidelity. She was living vicariously through all the drama with Linda and Carol. Linda and Carol encouraged their friend to take the leap, find a lover. Oh, shocker. She'll be so much happier, but she either didn't find a lover or didn't talk about him with Linda or Carol. Linda is a serial cheater, but her infidelity is nothing compared to Carol's. Carol is a full-time mom with one child in elementary school. She saw men mostly during the day. Lots of men. Many of them she met on Tinder, but there were also others. She was screwing an out-of-work neighbor in their marital bed almost every day for months, until he finally got a job. Carol also went out for what she told her husband were girls' nights, but those were always dates. Sometimes double dates with Linda. Her DM showed no guilt and no remorse about her cheating. Shocker. To be honest, Linda showed no remorse or guilt about her cheating either, unless they were comparing other men with their husbands or their husbands had pissed them off about something. There was almost no discussion of Jim, Carol's husband, or me in the DMs. They only talked about what was important to them, their adventures with their lovers. I had more than enough to give to Angie, my attorney, for the divorce. I finished with Linda's DMs about... There we are with the sirens. I finished with Linda's DMs about 1 o'clock in the morning. I looked at my phone and saw that Beth texted me earlier that she had the necklace and she had tossed Fred out. I texted back, good for her. Honest to God, the sirens. I texted her, good for her. I told her I found lots of stuff on Linda's laptop that she can use in the divorce. My lawyer will have everything. I gave her Angie's contact info. I called Angie in the morning and told her I'll be dropping off Linda's laptop. There's plenty there to prove that Linda has been a serial cheater. I went to get the STD test. I thought a lot about whether to tell Jim, Carol's husband, about Carol's infidelity. I decided that I had to tell him. You bet your ass you have to tell him. This poor bastard, God knows how many dudes she's been cheating on him with. You know? It's terrible. I called him on his cell phone and we were both at work. He answered by saying, "Hello, cheater. Can't keep in your pants?" Okay. He asked how I could cheat on my wonderful wife. She's divorcing me. I've ruined my marriage. Carol says Linda is devastated by my infidelity. Well, there you go. You always control the narrative, guys. There you go. She's saying this dude was cheating. Everyone in our friends group is. He's not even supposed to be talking to me. He and Carol and the rest of the group are cutting me out of their lies. I'd be like, okay, you want to believe that so easily? No problem. Have a good day. I told Jim I did not cheat on Linda. She cheated on me. He told me Carol said I'd say something like that to try to hide my infidelity from everyone and blame Linda. But he knows Linda would never cheat on me. Carol was right about me. I'm a selfish dirtbag who deserves every bad thing coming to me. That Linda is way too good for me. Why was I calling him? He didn't want to talk to me. I would not help this motherfucker at this point if he's that blind, that not even letting you speak. I told him that before he hangs up, I have some information that he needs to know. But I want to tell him in person. He asked what it was, some story to make up to make me look better. Am I going to tell him what a terrible wife Linda is? I'd be like, motherfucker, I don't care what you think about me. I'm calling you as a courtesy to help you. But okay. He doesn't want to listen to that. I said, no, it's not about me, but about Carol. I said I could come by after work, or he could come by to my house, or he could meet somewhere. He told me leave him and Carol alone and hung up on me. Okay. Tough shit. I thought about what to do. I decided to text him the picture of Linda and Carol naked at the pool party. I had Linda's laptop with me, and I gave it to Angie later that afternoon. But I decided to hold on to it for another day. Everything Jim needs to know about Carol is on that laptop. After he sees the picture I texted, he'll want to know everything. I don't know, guys. The way that guy was treating him, I think, you know what? You deserve it, motherfucker. Classic blue pill, nice guy. Motherfucker probably has a man bun. And eats his avocado toast and spends $15 for avocado toast in California or something. I'm in the mood to make fun of those guys. I didn't hear back from Jim until at least 6 p.m. He called to ask if he and Carol could come by my house. No, you and Carol can't come by the house. When they arrived, Jim looked furious and Carol was crying, her eyes red, sobbing. She asked me to please tell Jim that the pictures was Photoshop. It's not real. Please, please tell him it's a fake. Jim has lost his mind over this. She couldn't calm down. I can't destroy their marriage like this. She was never naked at any pool party. The picture's a phony. She's begging me, please tell Jim it's a fake. She's never been unfaithful. Jim told her to shut up. Jim looked at me. I told him I have lots of DMs between Linda and Carol, where Carol described the many, many men she's cheated on with him. Carol brags about banging men in Jim's bed. Oh. There are pictures of Carol and Linda out on dates. He can look at anything I have. It's on Linda's laptop. Carol ran over to him and grabbed him by his arm, trying to pull him towards the door. She said, I'm just making all this stuff up. Jim should not listen to any of my BS. I'm making all this stuff up because I'm angry at Carol for convincing Linda to dump me. Please, can we just talk and go home? Jim knows she would never cheat on him. She loves him, and her marriage is too much to even think about another man. I'm the liar and cheater trying to get back to Carol because she's looking out for Linda. Jim shook her off. I told her to get away from him and asked for the laptop. I told him to open up the file labeled pictures. Carol said she doesn't know what Linda has been up to, but the one picture of Carol naked at the pool party and pictures of her with other men were all photoshopped. I asked her how she knew what the pictures in the file showed. Carol looked confused and then realized her blunder. I said, you know what's in the pictures besides you took most of them? Carol glanced at Jim and then looked down. Her crying got louder. Jim looked through the pictures. There was only the one picture of Carol at the party that I sent him. But if he hadn't figured out already, the other pictures would make it clear that our wives weren't at this pool party to work on their tans. Jim looked through the pictures of Carol out on dates. He finished with the pictures and looked at me. I told him that Carol was asked to the party by one of her Tinder hookups. She brought Linda with her. It's all there in the Instagram DMs. I asked for the laptop, opened Instagram to the DMs, and gave it back to him. I said he could just pick any place to start. Carol's infidelity went back years and is continuing, so he can start anywhere and read about one or another of Carol's lovers. He started to read. Carol was really crying now. No bag handbook. Waterworks. Begging and pleading. Jim went through the DMs for about half an hour. Reading them is like looking at a car crash. You cannot look away. So are these stories. I watched him while Carol cried. He put the laptop down and leaned back on the couch looking completely defeated. I know the feeling. He asked me if he could have copies of everything. I told him I'm giving the laptop to Angie, my attorney, tomorrow. Carol probably had a similar Instagram account and he needed to find it. But I'll give him Angie's contact information. He can get everything I have from her. He asked if he could use Angie for his divorce too. I told him she's a great attorney. At the mention of divorce, Carol jumped up and got on her knees in front of him. Well, that's certainly something she has plenty of experience doing. Put her hands together like she's praying and begged him to talk to her before making any rash decisions. She can answer any questions Jim has. She's done nothing that warrants Jim destroying their marriage. You destroyed the marriage, you piece of something. Jim told her to get away from him. He's leaving. She's not welcome in his home and should stay away from him and their son. He's filing for divorce. He apologized for the way he treated me when I called him up. He got up, thanked me for showing him everything and for Angie's contact info. Please tell Angie to expect a phone call from him tomorrow. He told Carol again to stay away from him and their boy. I suggested he get an STD test and probably a paternity test for their son. Yeah. Carol's face went white. He said, good idea, and started to leave. Carol tried to leave with him, more tears. He told her he didn't want to be anywhere near her. He apologized to me, but said he didn't want her in his car. He wasn't sure if it was safe for her to be near him. He left, but Carol stayed, thanks Jim. Go back in the house. She can get an Uber. As soon as he was gone, Carol stopped crying. Oh, shocker. She could switch it off like a light switch. Looked at me enraged and told me I'm a real piece of crap. How could I do this to her? Jim has lost his mind over this. It will take forever to get back to where they were before I told Jim all this crap about her. Then she suddenly stopped her tirade, looked at me, and smiled. She asked if she could stay here with me. Linda is gone, so I must be lonely. Oh my God. She won't tell Linda or Jim if I don't. Jim will come to his senses in the next day or two when he realizes that he can't live without her. Can't live without her? Really? So for me, the next couple of days, she's all mine. Big inviting smile from Carol. She continued, I can get revenge on my cheating wife. She also wants to get back at Linda. Linda getting caught is to blame for Jim being so upset. I told her to get the fuck out. Call someone to get her. She can wait outside for her ride. She was really surprised I was turning her down. She shrugged, said, I don't know what I'm missing. My loss. I told her, get out. She opened her phone and started to type, and I left. And that is the end of part 4. You're all like, what the fuck? What kind of way to end this part is? Well, these things come in different parts. So bro, holy fucking shit, I'm sorry you're going through all this, but you got all the information your lawyer wanted, so give it to her and let her work her magic, and she can do what she's got to do and get you through this as quickly and painlessly as possible. I'm sorry for all this, but you're going to survive just like the countless other guys survived. And I still, the way that guy was treating you, I don't know, but at least he now knows, and he can be an ally in this whole goddamn thing. But talk about shameless, those two. Oh my God. But something tells me we're going to have part 5 and 6 probably in a few weeks as things escalate with his lawyer and all that. So when I get the updates, guys, I'll most certainly put it on here. You can definitely count on that. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, you come across a great story, you got a crazy one to send me about your own personal life, email me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And also, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my other channel, Strong Successful Male or SSM Clips, they all have different types of things. It's all related, but the SSM channel is mainly personal stories, and the SSM Clips is shorter stories for you guys that are on the go. Definitely subscribe them and help them grow. As these channels grow, they get put out there by YouTube, and I can help more guys out. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.